Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Should see the jacket he wore in today. Explains to me that he got it for free.
Yep. One of those spend $75 or more, we'll throw this in, and it did. And
I'd like to point out you overpaid.
I might have. I probably did. With the team on the back of it, I may have overpaid.
You overpaid for that thing, and you got it for nothing.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Well, it's the team that no longer has their 6 banners in the rafters because there was a concert there Friday night and the pyrotechnics burned all 6
burn the banners.
Good Lord.
It's where the Big Ten tournament is next year, so.
Great fit, by the way. I love the United Center.
I like the United Center.
Absolutely.
Oh, no. I like the United Center.
They probably should have maybe not built it on Madison, but other than that, I love the United Center.
No,
not a terrible area, but not the world's greatest area.
It's not that bad. I mean,
No?
no, it's not that bad. What they did was they took Chicago Stadium, they tore it down, they made it into a parking lot. Yeah, and you need parking, and
Absolutely.
it's an open area around it, and there is at least some parking around. They don't have. I don't recall them having any parking garages around it. I think it's just they've got parking.
No, there wasn't.
There used to be a hotel about a quarter mile from it called the Viceroy.
Oh.
And so the bus would come down. You'd leave Center City, Chicago. Now, you got to go out like 4 or 5 miles, okay? And part of the trip was going by Harpo Studios, which is Oprah Winfrey Studios, right? You go past there and you keep going out. And you get to the Viceroy, and there was a sign up front that said, quote, transients welcome, right? And the running joke we had was when there were 11 teams in the Big Ten, that's where the 11th seed stayed. It's like, okay. It's like, all right. But I have done probably between 20 and 30 games in the United Center in my career. I love the arena.
Yeah, I love it.
Now the one in Indianapolis, Gamebridge Fieldhouse,
Yep.
Tremendous arena. So it's going to go Chicago next year, Indianapolis the year after, and then Las Vegas in 28 at T-Mobile Arena. So those are the next 3. The winter workout. We'll get to the NCAA tournament in a moment. Some of the workout winners today. Venga Ioane, but from Phil Troutwine. Jackson Smolik from quarterback coach Danny O'Brien. Terry Smith went with Elliott Washington again. They've had 5 of these winter workouts. He's won all 5. Let's see. Deion Barnes went with Xavier Gilliam. Anthony Poindexter went with Lamont Payne. Luke Reynolds from Ty Howell at tight end. And wide receiver Kobe Howard from Marcus Higgins. How about that? So there you go. Some of the winter workout winners today. They've got one more to go, and that's on Thursday. Then they'll start spring practice a week from today. Spring practice 2 will be on Thursday, the 27th, and then Pro Day is the 28th. It'll be the 23rd consecutive year that I've had to watch you go attempt the combine, right? And for some reason, also the other part is, will John Lynch show up because of the restraining order?
I'll tell you. It's never fair because then I have to go all the way to the other side.
It's a restraining order.
I tried her on the 40, he liked my 40, found out my name, and thought, well, nope.
He didn't like your 40. There's a restraining order on you.
He tied it with a sundial.
There's a restraining order. Anybody with the 49ers, you're not allowed in the building. Jeez.
I hid behind the Lombardi they've won in the last 30 years.
Oh, you just awful. Okay, so, let's get to the tournament. You want to talk about something that's really interesting? North Carolina. Now, because North Carolina, let's see, Alabama State, St. Francis, and who's North Carolina playing off the top of my head?
It's San Diego State.
San Diego State. Because they're all playing today. Their open practice was yesterday. Guess who was a no-show? North Carolina.
That makes sense.
Oh, no. You want to know why? Plane problems with the NCAA. Whatever plane they got had a problem because they were trying to make it in time to do it.
Okay.
This was not a problem. This is not a problem on their part. Okay. This was not a problem on their part. It was, and look, this plane thing with the NCAA has been, over the years, I mean, I've dealt with it a couple of times. You're like, it's not exactly the most organized thing on the face of the earth. And you would think at this point it would be like a machine. It's not. Now, tonight, North Carolina will play San Diego State. Texas will play, Xavier tomorrow? Yeah. Let me give you a different angle on these games in Dayton. As you know, there's been discussion about going to 76. Okay. That's fine. I mean, talk about it. Pros, cons, whatever. Well, tonight, and with all due respect to St. Francis, and I'll be rooting like heck for Rob tonight. The second game, San Diego State and North Carolina on True TV, I would expect to get really good ratings tonight. I would expect tomorrow night's nightcap, Texas against Xavier, to get really good ratings. Are you following where I'm going here?
Sure.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah, it's this.
No, that's not where I'm going.
You're not going with the brand?
Oh, no.
I expected to get really good ratings.
I mean, so many times I want to quit the show. This is one of them. Where would you go?
Texas and North Carolina's name might have something to do with the ratings, I think.
Yes. But hey, think big picture here. Right? I realize you live paycheck to paycheck.
That's right.
Okay, so
overdraft to overdraft.
So you're not used to the big picture. I got that part. If they show great ratings, tonight and tomorrow night on True TV, no less, with the brands that you're talking about, so we'll link it into your brands. It would then be a selling point
for the expansion
to expand. And these would be the kind of brands we would get into the.
Yeah.
Right. You're still going to have, with all due respect, St. Francis against Alabama State. You're still going to have that.
Sure.
But you're going to have other games with these types of brands in it at a second location. And I think the North Carolina-Texas thing may have been a long play. It sounds devious. I wouldn't want to get the governor of West Virginia upset. They may never let me back in. But this may be one of those long play, deliberately done deals where they can come up with ways. Look, you can come up with ways to justify anything, okay? So their ability to justify them being in, it's like watching the college football playoff selection committee week by week, and they come up with all sorts of ways to justify. So, to their credit, they have perfected the moving target.
That's true. That is true.
And they probably took cues from the NCAA basketball committee. Here's the moving target. Right. And I think in the end, and I did hint at this yesterday when I was talking about them being in, and I was talking about, I'm not surprised that those two were in the first four as 11s. They're not in as 12s. They're in as 11s. What are you getting, phone calls now?
Nope.
I didn't realize you had MGM Bet on speed dial.
On speed dial.
Okay. So when I looked at it, I thought, okay, they're in. They're mega names. North Carolina, one of the ultimate basketball brands. Texas just is a big brand, which we talked about Penn State, Texas 2 years ago getting 6.6 million viewers because of the three brands involved: March Madness, the name Texas, the name Penn State, and all of a sudden you've got a big night. And so you got that tonight and tomorrow. If they can pull off ratings tonight and tomorrow, they're definitely going to pull off ratings tonight because North Carolina has a national following. And I think they got a good shot at decent ratings tomorrow night, too. That would be the argument going to the networks, especially to Warner Discovery. And Warner Discovery, for everybody, is Turner. Okay? That's the name for Turner now, is Warner Discovery. Because they have 70%. Again, a number you had no clue yesterday. Do you follow that?
I knew they had the higher number. I knew Turner was paying more. Absolutely,
it's 70%.
Yeah,
and that's the idea, to go to them and say, like, see, we can deliver that for you. We can work the brackets out in such a way to deliver that for you. And I think in some ways they would never say this. Never say this. But for those who are, cynical, mostly our management, what? For those of you out there who are a bit cynical, which over the years I've become more of, you can look at that and go, you know what? I wonder how much a role that played in. Okay, they get in, but then the placement of them playing a first four game. Right at a time where they're thinking about expanding. So there you go.
yeah. No, that's a good point. I think that's absolutely, and that's a distinct possibility now you have. Yeah, you're right. You're going to have them now plead their case to, hey, okay, look at these ratings. This is why we need to expand and move up.
I mean, because they're not going to get a bad rating tonight.
No, you're not. Absolutely not. And that's where, even with a 9 o'clock tip, you're still going to get a great rating.
But you're going to have two things going tonight for you. One, North Carolina has a big following.
Absolutely.
Two, you've got a group of people out there that are hoping they crash and burn.
That's absolutely right.
That was always people would say, oh, Tom Brady, what Tom Brady? There's a bunch of people who wanted Brady to win every game. And there is a bunch of people out there that want to see Brady fail.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like, that's why people don't watch 49ers games anymore. They expect them to fail.
They expect them to lose. There's
But I mean, that's what's happened over the years.
Yeah.
Okay,
Chiefs,
there is a group of people out there that wanted to see Tiger Woods win every single golf tournament, and there was a segment out there that watched to see him miss a putt, not quite make it.
Yeah,
have Y.E. Yang come from behind and beat him in the PGA.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a segment, LeBron. People want to see him win. And other people are like, good, he got eliminated. Way to go, Denver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that draws more people in because now you're bringing both factions together. Well, North Carolina's going to have that tonight. There's going to be the usual North Carolina big name. Here they go. Let's go Big Blue, the whole deal out there playing. And there's going to be an entire segment that they don't deserve to be in. Go San Diego State, let's go. Yeah, San Diego State. I told you they didn't belong. But they're both going to watch. They're both going to watch.
You're right.
All right. And that's something that's going to be, to me, a side story. Okay? That's going to be a side story to this tonight, beyond the idea that the winner advances in the NCAA tournament. And that's, to me, is, from a business point of view, a very interesting side story.
Yeah, and it's absolutely right. I think there's no question. If you absolutely despise something, there's always that type where, prime example this year, there's fair share that doesn't like the Eagles. There's obviously a huge share doesn't like the Chiefs. I can't tell you how many people I heard, I'm not even watching the Super Bowl this year. They watched.
Sure they watched. Of course
they absolutely watched.
Oh, no. They absolutely watched. Because it was, the idea was to get people excited, interested, whatever. And then there's that group that people were sick of the Chiefs. Right? That's why I laughed about like people don't get it. Taylor Swift got booed at the Super Bowl. Well, of course she got booed by the Super Bowl. She's dating the Chiefs tight end, and the Eagles fans booed her. Yeah. Just like when Dak Prescott was the NFL Man of the Year the last time they played in the Super Bowl and got booed by the Eagles fans. Okay. All he's doing out there is his brother passed away. He's raising boatloads of money, so he's the NFL Man of the Year. Yet the Eagles fans booed him because he's a Dallas Cowboy.
Dallas, absolutely.
Right? You have to apply a league. There's so many people that go, "Oh, that was awful." I go, "For goodness sakes!" I said,
common sense.
Okay, wake up.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any semblance of common sense, or do you just, "Oh, I can't believe they booed"? It's like, hey. I mean, you want to look at people sometimes and go, you're an idiot. It's like, you don't get it. Okay.
Yeah. Where was Taylor Swift during some of her young days? Too.
Right.
What state?
Right.
Exactly.
Grew up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason she got booed is because of Travis Kelce, not because of her.
Yeah. And in Pennsylvania, when you're wearing an Eagles sweatshirt, there's a picture of you 12 years old wearing an Eagles sweatshirt, and You're not rooting for the Super Bowl? Yeah, you're going to get booed.
I mean, Dub, I'm saying, though, she's dating the opposing team's tight end. That's the only reason why. Right? Well, that's the same story when it comes to North Carolina tonight. There's going to be a bunch of people out there that just, I hope they don't belong in the tournament. San Diego State, they were in the Final Four 2 years ago. They're going to teach them a lesson. I'm like, okay, this will be great. But both sides are going to watch. Both sides will watch tonight. And I think it's going to, I think it's going to be pretty good game. There are a lot of people who think San Diego State's going to win. I don't. I think North Carolina is going to win tonight.
Yeah,
I watched San Diego State a couple times this year, and to be honest with you, I wasn't that crazy about them. I was like, my first thought was, boy, have they fallen back. Right? And it's not as if they're not well coached. They are. It's not as if they can't do certain things well. They can. But North Carolina should be the better team. The problem North Carolina has is they don't have an inside presence. They just don't have that. Ever since, Baycott was there for, 9, 10 years, whatever it was. I mean, so at some point you had to replace Baycott, but they never did. See, that's the issue. They knew he was leaving, and they never replaced him. Their inside presence is no better than okay. Davis will be the best player on the floor. I mean, Davis will be the best player on the floor for North Carolina. I mean, he's really, really good. So, but yeah. So that's tonight. Now, St. Francis, I'm not going to even pretend I know anything about Alabama State because I don't.
Same.
I don't know a thing about it. Actually, Penn State played St. Francis, so I know a lot about them. But the bottom line is I want Rob to win, Rob Krimmel. And, yeah. It's also exit day today for the Penn State wrestling team on their way to Philadelphia for the NCAA championships. And here we go. A chance to win another national title. And it's more than just trying to win a national title. It's also the opportunity for individuals to win national titles. The team championship just happens. It really is. Wrestling's an interesting sport. They talk about winning national championships and team titles. Okay. Yes, because of points you do win a team title, but it's such an individual sport. You're out there mano a mano. You're out there alone. Then it turns out your team benefits points-wise by your result. So it really is about what 10 people can do out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the prime example is what Penn State has done.
And one by one.
Yeah, it's a prime example, obviously, of what Penn State's done these last few years. They've obviously had, you look at last year, they had the team title wrapped up by Friday night. So, but it was still, the atmosphere Saturday was incredible. The hype was incredible because you were looking to see, was Carter Starace going to get championship number 4? Was Aaron Brooks going to get championship number 4? And that's going to be the same thing you're looking at this year as a fan. Obviously, Starace going for number 5 would be unprecedented. And
hopefully, with all due respect, hopefully it'll never happen again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't want to go through another pandemic and COVID years and things like that. It's I don't want to do that.
Absolutely not, and absolutely not. And obviously, you have the return this year of Gable Stevenson, and now you have Stevenson and Kirkley potentially in the final. So there's a lot to be looking forward to this wrestling season, and this wrestling championship. And it's not only a team sport. Obviously, a lot of it is individual. Absolutely.
2025, and Gable Stevenson started wrestling in 2018.
I know. Well,
that's a long career, man.
One of the few guys in college can say, I was in the WWE for a short time. I played for the Buffalo Bills for a short time, and now here I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from what he's done in his career.
Yeah.
But mamma mia, that is that's a long college career.
I agree.
Now, it's not Cam McCormick, the tight end for Miami, who had a 9th year of eligibility.
What do you have, 9 years?
Right?
I would have said 9.
Now, what's going to happen is look for them to pass this 5-year rule, which you got 5 years. Whatever you do in 5 years, you do in 5 years. But in 5 years, you're finished. By the way, Riley Thompson was the special teams competitor. Dominic DeLuca was the linebacking competitor. And Quentin Martin, and justifiably so, was the running back winner today. I think we just added those in there for you. So, the 5-year rule, like whatever you do in 5 years, you do in 5 years. Okay. After that, you're done. To me, they have to put all this down, and at some point, they do need to hammer out with whatever entity is selected a basic agreement, and especially for football and men's basketball, and I think that is something that you need to have rules surrounding this. Now, with the money involved, I think you have to. What's allowed to be put into a contract now? NIL before you sign, you can do that now. As of yesterday, you can do that now. That's legal. Okay. But you need to have parameters surrounding everything. Okay, this is how the transfer portal is going to work. Okay, this is how, you agree to it, we agree to it. This is how the parameters of NIL will work. We agree to it, you agree to it. Okay, this is how much money is going to be paid out to football. You agree to it, we agree to it. Okay, contracts, I think, need to be put in place. And part of the contract is the obligation, for example, okay, all right, because you're being paid now, right, would include, yes, bowl participation, okay? Okay, you have a contract now. Part of the contract would be, again, if you're doing this, okay, would be participation in the NCAA tournament, the NIT, or the Crown. Right? Participation in it. Because you are now getting paid. Right? Now, what are the parameters when it comes to benefits from the university? Do you put in there no other benefits in the university beyond the fact that, of course, we're talking about insurance, your medical facilities, access to doctors, access to trainers, right? All that, which is already there to begin with. Yeah. But you're not going to be a part of the pension plan. You're not, in other words, we're bringing you in as students who are also, I wonder if I don't know if you refer to them as independent contractors or not, right? And that's that.
Yeah,
okay?
that I think would be
okay. But my question would be the $20.5 million. So whatever the number happens to be for football, if it's going to be somewhere between 15 and 17 million, okay. Well, is this 1099 money? I mean, that's a question I need to ask somebody that. Is that 1099 money?
Yep. And that, I think, is a more likely...
But, again, 1099 money is essentially you're an independent contractor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... Oh, yeah. You become an independent contractor, it changes things too, because then that unfortunately, I think a lot of times would reopen negotiation for a lot of these athletes for NIL, basically being, hey, I'm going to have a hefty bill come March or April to Uncle Sam. We have to cover that too.
Well, they already have that with NIL. NIL is 1099 money.
Yep.
And that's something that is an element that is discussed over and over again with the players, especially at this time of the year. But they're mentioning to them all the time, remember, it's 1099, it's 1099, it's 1099, which means you've got to keep some money out somewhere because you're going to have to eventually pay taxes on it. Right? And I brought up the tax issue on this all the time. Yeah. So North Carolina's tonight. You, of course, will be rooting for them to lose. I know how you operate. Right. You want Duke to lose.
Duke and Carolina to lose?
Yeah.
Throw Kentucky in there.
Oh.
But you made the point yesterday. It's absolutely 1,000% accurate. People talk about Duke and North Carolina. Oh, great fan bases. There is no fan base that travels more than Kentucky.
Well, I mean, I've experienced it.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. Yeah, I've been to the Champions Classic. I've seen Duke, Kansas, Michigan State, and Kentucky in the same venue, obviously. There is no
Kentucky
bigger,
would be one, Kansas would be second.
Yep. No bigger fan base than Kentucky. Not even close.
I mean, so I'm doing the NCAA tournament 2 years ago in Des Moines. And the game before Penn State was Arkansas, Kansas. So the place, in Des Moines is relative proximity, Kansas, right? And they were in droves, the whole thing. And they beat Howard in the first game, which I did not go to because Penn State was playing in the night session, so I didn't go to the afternoon session. And so I saw Texas play Colgate, then Penn State played against Texas A&M. So then get to Saturday, and the first game was Kansas against Arkansas. The place is loaded with Kansas fans. Well, Arkansas, the game's really tight, and I'm watching the game. I mean, I can't have a better seat. I'm right there at courtside. Sure. And I said to Dick, I said, God, Arkansas this is like a 1-point game one way or the other. I said, Dick, Arkansas is like better than this team. They're more athletic and they're just better. And then all of a sudden Arkansas started pulling away. And the panic in the stands was like palpable. Well, the Kansas broadcast team was right next to us. They didn't handle it so well. And it's one of the few times I saw Dick get mad. Like Dick never gets mad. But like they were like pounding stuff and like they were like invading his space.
Yeah, like getting into his, yeah.
Right? And like he said, what are you doing? Get away from me. Like, I mean, we're on the air doing our pregame show. It's like act like some professionals here. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? I know you're invested in the team.
Sure.
I said, but if you want to go outside toward the river and yell, go ahead.
Yeah.
But like allow us to work. I mean, it was like every once in a while on Sirius, I'll hear their broadcast team. And I'm like, I don't have a high opinion of them. Not because of the quality of work, just they just weren't.
And that's that's something that happens too. Like that is literally, you could have the greatest broadcast known to man. People are going to remember. There's going to be somebody who remembers what happened that day.
Well, no, it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
It's like Dick and I were like, what the heck's wrong with these people? I mean,
I've
I know you didn't win. I know your team didn't win. I got it.
Yeah, that is the one thing in broadcasting high school.
See, and I was inside of Dick. So it wasn't a fact.
Yeah, it wasn't a fact.
It was Bob. Bob was next to me. Dick was on my right. Yeah. So Dick was the one who was in the line of fire here.
Yes. That's something I've experienced with high school. There's no question about it. You obviously have, again, 99% of parents are good parents. You have that 1% that make it a bad experience for a lot of people. You should not have that 1% being broadcasters making it a bad experience for a lot of people, and there are people yelling at a fit. I have seen broadcasters take the headset off during the broadcast and yell at officials. And it's like I to this day I can't.
No,
I just never. That's not how we were taught. I'll leave it at that.
Well, no, look. Do you get invested in what's going on? Of course you get invested by what's going on. Of course you do. All right? That happens. But you can't do that.
No.
And although I'll tell you one that was interesting. I went to my grandson's hockey game. Okay. Now, these little kids. Right?
Yeah, little kids, yeah.
So they take the ice and they divide it into threes. So like you play X amount of time against one team, but then you shift the next time. Okay. So I think this was over in Pagula. So as the home team, they had the same sheet of ice the entire time I was rotating through our area. Okay. So I don't even know where the team's from. And these parents sit down behind me. And the one father goes, Robert, what are you doing? Robert, I can't believe what he's doing. What's he doing out there? I can't believe he doesn't play there. He's got to understand. He's got to do. He's going out like the whole game. And I'm just sitting there listening to it. Right? He goes, can't believe he played there. He's not aggressive enough. He's not handling the puck right. He said, I don't understand what his problem is. And he gets up and he leaves. And I looked around at everybody and I said, well, I know exactly what Robert's problem is. Right? When I didn't mean the dad. Right? Whatever the dad, that's a problem. But I said, I can tell Robert's dad exactly what his problem is. He's 8.
He's 8. Yeah.
Okay.
He's 8 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a reason why when you're playing sports at that level, you just want to learn the game itself first.
Right.
Then you can
8.
learn those things as you get older. How you learn to, absolutely.
He's 8.
Yeah, completely. You're not playing for. I know we are in an era of a world right now where college scholarships are being handed out way too early in this world for a lot of athletes, but you typically are not getting one at 7 or 8 years old.
It's like he's 8.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's
Have
simple.
fun with the game.
Right?
When you were a kid.
Learn the game.
Enjoy the game. Learn the game. All of that extra stuff comes later.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's why we have basketball camps and other things that are taught by instructors. That's why we have great coaches.
Yeah. And that's what, it's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's also okay to let kids be kids.
Absolutely.
Right? Let them have fun. Yeah. Let them enjoy it. Right? As time goes, maybe increase a little bit in terms of the practice time and so forth. You can do it. You can sit there and look at a kid. Let them be kids. Let them have fun. They're 8 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? There are going to be days that are going to be good. There are going to be days where There are going to be days they don't want to be there. You don't want it to be in such a way where they don't want to be at practice. You don't want that. You got to do certain things in such a way that make them want to be there, which then opens the door to teaching them.
Absolutely.
Because they're 8.
Absolutely.
Right? So like the Little League thing, it always cracks me up. Come on, I can't believe he's pitching this way. He's 11.
He's 11, yeah. There's a reason there are now restrictions on pitches these kids throw. A pitch count on how many these kids throw. They're 11. They're 12. They're still learning the game.
Yeah.
Nolan Ryan doesn't exist at age 12. It just doesn't happen. It's you may be a prodigy. You maybe stick out from a lot of other people. You still have a lot to learn when you're 11 and 12 years old.
Yeah.
A lot to learn. Have fun with the game.
Right? Have fun with the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, at some point, it does get serious.
Yeah, certainly. As you get older, you got to learn that stuff, no doubt.
And the result of it getting serious is something you'll see tonight. It's
absolutely
became serious for every St. Francis player. It became serious for every Alabama State player, for every San Diego State player, and for every North Carolina player. It became serious at some point. But at 8, no. At 11, no. And I'll never forget in talking with Mike Gesicki, who signed a really nice 3-year deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah. Mike played volleyball. Now, Mike played a lot of sports, but he played basketball, and he was a 2-time All-State player. He was State Player of the Year in New Jersey in basketball. Okay? But it turned out he's a really terrific volleyball player. And I asked him about it. He says, I just did it for fun. Well, that's important.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He did do it for fun because guess what? He had fun with it. Yeah. He was playing sports for fun. And also the other thing that he did is that he played football, basketball, and volleyball. He didn't restrict himself to one sport. Right. And that is one of the big mistakes. I feel like they target one thing. And you've got to be able to I think it's really important that they get a wide range of experience and not just get buttonholed into one sport. Every day we're going to go skating. Every day we're going to skate. Every day we're going to skate. Every day we're going to do gymnastics. Every day we're going to do gymnastics. Every day we're going to do gymnastics. No. Okay? Let them have a variety.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be certain skills that translate over. I mean, it's the same in our business. Eli Gold, who did Alabama for 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
Eli and I were talking on the phone one day, and Eli's done everything. He's done hockey. Eli, by the way, huge hockey fan. I mean, people don't realize. I mean, he may have been the voice of Alabama. Eli grew up in Brooklyn, you know, right? And so he was a huge New York Rangers fan. He'd get into the Garden, sit in the Madison Square Garden, sit in the top row, watch games. He eventually did do WHA hockey. Eli did, but at one point he was doing basketball, he was doing baseball, he was doing some softball, he was doing football. Now, eventually he pared it down and was just doing football at the end before, Chris Stewart does football and basketball now. But we both agreed that it keeps us fresh. Changing sports, changing seasons, different styles of a football game is different to broadcast in a baseball game. A baseball game is different to broadcast basketball game. We both agreed it keeps you fresh. Well, it's the same thing with kids. Keeps it fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps it fresh. Now, you would hope, for example, if you raise your child to be the opening day pitcher in Major League Baseball, that your first pitch of the season is not a pitch timer violation. Which is what happened today in Tokyo for Yamamoto. Now, and by the way, he ended up walking the batter.
Yeah, and then
but then 5 innings, he gave up 1 run on 3 hits. He pitched really, really well. So, that's pitch clock violation. Now, Fox did not send their broadcast team, but I guess A.J. Brzezinski had a great line. And he said, well, I didn't have that on my bingo card for the first pitch of the season, pitch clock violation.
Well, that's like I talked to you about. That's like some of these football teams. You prepare for a big game, and the first freaking play of the game, you get called for illegal formation.
Well, no. What gets me is teams will come onto the field after a timeout.
And then take another timeout or get a delay game.
And they delay a game. You're like going, you just stood there for 3 minutes, right? You didn't know what you were going to run? What the heck? Like, what are we doing here? Ay, 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 ay. Now, I realize that out of the timeout, the difference is you do have 15 fewer seconds.
Right.
Instead of 40, you have 25. But I'll be watching TV go, how can you delay a game? You're just coming off a timeout.
Yeah. Or
there's a punt, TV timeout. They come out on the field, take a delay. They go, what are you doing? You were just in commercials for 3 minutes. You didn't know what you wanted to do? Okay. Oh, it's like watching the Michigan Wisconsin game on Sunday. Jack Ham and I were talking about this morning. And he said, what do you think of Michigan? I said, that's one of the worst coach games I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, he goes, what do you mean? I said, oh, Jack. I said, the two teams combined to go 12 of 73 in threes, okay? I said, you would think at some point somebody would say, hey, I've got Vlad Golden. Let's just pound it inside for the next 5 possessions and see what we get. I said, because over here in the back, you're open for a reason. I'm sitting there watching this going, he's not a good three-point shooter. Why is he taking it? He's not a good three-point shooter. Why is he taking it? Like, what are you doing? I mean, that's why I thought Blackwell was the best player on the floor. He's like, the heck with this. He started driving it to the bucket. They're good. Somebody figured it out. What a great job. Great job. Right. Oh, and the weird thing is the shot that put Michigan in front was a three.
Yeah.
And Donaldson, he did that against Penn State. He had a big three near the end of the game, which was huge. But, I sat there and went, don't tell me what a great job. Like, what a great job, my foot. What do you... It's like... watching this because I have a lot of respect for Dusty May. I have a lot of respect for Greg Gard, a lot of respect for both. But you can't sit there and keep watching. Why are you taking that shot? What's that shot about? What? Right? He's open. I don't care. He's open. He's open for a reason. In fact, there's multiple reasons he's open. Oh, man. So. I mean, what great, he said, Jack says to me, was it great defense? I go, not really. I said, I kind of forced myself to keep watching it. I said, the margin was close enough. I said, it was like watching it was like watching the train hit the bus in The Fugitive. You couldn't pull your eyes away from it. It's like, okay. It's like, oh. He said, what do you think about Michigan? They're not going to get out of the first weekend.
No, I didn't think so. No, I don't think so.
And I've been saying that for weeks. I haven't changed my mind about that.
Yeah, I got a kick out of about The Fugitive that they painted they dyed the river green in Chicago yesterday. And
have you ever been there for that?
No.
It really is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because 2 years ago we saw it because we stayed in the hotel, the Sheraton on the Chicago River.
Where you see the that's
right.
Cool.
It was a Saturday, And so they're out there dyeing the river green. And I said the same thing to somebody. I said, that line in The Fugitive. Hey, Sammy, if they could dye the river green, he says, for St. Patrick's Day, why can't they dye it blue the rest of the year? I don't know. Oh, God. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah. Did you know he was he played football at Harvard?
Who's that with the?
Played Samuel Gerard. It was.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, and you know who his roommate was on the Harvard.
Oh, you're talking
team?
about Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Al Gore. Yeah.
Al Gore.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones played at Harvard. I think.
Yeah.
They were in the famous 29-29 game.
Oh, yeah.
I think they were. Yale and Harvard. Now, Yale had great teams. This is when they had Calvin Hill, Bob Weinauer, and Brian Dowling. So anybody who's followed the comic strip BD in Doonesbury, that's after Brian Dowling, the quarterback. Calvin Hill's Grant Hill's father. Right, played in the NFL
Cowboys.
for years with the Cowboys. Bob Weinauer was a third-round pick of the Dolphins. Well, the game in 1969, okay, Harvard is losing the game. Jeez, I want to say. Like 29-14 or something like that. And there's 42 seconds to go. It's 29-13. And they rallied, okay, from down 29-13 in the last 42 seconds, tie the game 29-29. And the key was when it was the thing that makes it memorable is not only the fact they came back and did it, which was incredible. And yes, Tommy Lee Jones did play in the game.
Yeah.
Is that the Harvard Crimson newspaper? The headline read, "Harvard beats Yale 29-29." Yeah. Harvard beats Yale 29-29. So incredible. So, yeah. 19. I think it was 69, right? I think it was. Boom, 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 boom. What year was that? Just to make sure. Was it 68 or 68? I think it was 69.
Definitely in there.
Ding, 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 ding. 68, yep. So 68. And Yale was really good. Really good. And the game was at Harvard. And Tommy Lee Jones played in that game. Let's see. Yale News wrote a story about it. Let's see what the Yale News wrote. 2018, 50 years later, those who experienced it reflect upon the classic game and ponder what it means for the game to be played 50 years later. All right, that's great. Here we go. So, we were more divided in 68 than any time since the Civil War. Okay, that's fine. Yale's offense featuring Brian Dowling, Calvin Hill, Bruce Weinstein. All right. So when Yale, after an undefeated season, entered Harvard Stadium for the 85th matchup between the rival schools, every expectation was that they would win. All right. The conference seemed to warrant it when Yale was up 22-6 at the half and 29-13 with 4 minutes to go. But then something shifted. The Bulldogs were handed 3 penalties, and Harvard made 2 touchdowns to bring the score to 29-29 in the final 42 seconds. It was an amazing series of events, heroic plays, bad calls, unquestionable decisions, very questionable decisions, and luck. It was almost a miracle. Right? They say there was another way to view the legendary game with the benefit of perspective. Over the years, it would have been nice if instead of a Yale defeat and a Harvard victory in that 68 game, because the tie, it really was an amazing thing that these two teams unwittingly produced. Brian Dowling said, "We were all winners that day. Harvard because they made the great comeback, and Yale because we played for Carmen Koza." Carmen Koza, by the way, was a great coach at Yale. Great coach. But, yeah. Tommy Lee Jones played in that game. Harvard beats Yale. It wasn't like Yale didn't score in the fourth quarter. They did.
Yep.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And the legendary Red Sox announcer was one of the announcers of the game that day. It is the last tie in the history of the Harvard-Yale series. Yeah. And both teams came into the game 8-0, by the way, which made it even cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Never thought we'd talk about Harvard-Yale today. What the heck?
Right.
But we had to bring up Tommy Lee Jones and dyeing the river green. He says, I don't care. I don't know what you're talking about.
Also love the parade where Harrison Ford puts the hat on.
Okay. Story about that. All right. That actually is the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Oh, okay.
They got permission. They did it in one take. They got permission to do this. All right, from the organizers. So everything you see, that's
actual live parade.
The actual parade, them trying to mix in, then of course Ford slips out. But they got permission to do it, and it was all done in one take. In other words, we're not stopping the parade,
Yeah.
Right? They did it. He's jumping up and down trying to look for him. They actually got permission to do that, and it was done one shot. Joe Pantoliano told me, because he plays the number 2 guy to Tommy Lee Jones in the movie The Fugitive. He says he and Tommy Lee Jones are going to the airport. He says, Steve, he looks at me, he says, well, at least we got paid for that. That's the going nowhere. It's like, may have missed the mark on that one.
I've seen quarterbacks make a better effort after an interception trying to make a tackle than I saw the guy making the effort in the airport trying to stop Harrison Ford going through the door.
Oh. Yeah. Explain to me why a guy that is wanted for escape and for murder is acting like Mother Teresa here in the emergency ward. It's like this is when you start to think to yourself, I wonder if he's innocent. All right. So more in the NCAA tournament tomorrow. Again, I think there's more at play here with these games tonight. With these games tonight and tomorrow.
I agree.
Dealing with TV ratings. And as a selling point for future expansion. In other words, to have future expansion, you need to have the pie get either the same size or bigger. Okay? You can't have it where we've got more games, but everybody's going to get a smaller slice of the pie because we didn't expand the number. I need the pie to be a little bit bigger so everybody gets a bigger slice. The contract runs out in 2032, so what can you do between now and next year to make that happen? Can you get a little bit more from TNT? Is there a clause in the contract with CBS and Warner Discovery that allows you to independently say, okay, since you guys aren't going to pick up the extra ones, we have the right now to negotiate with Netflix. We have the right to negotiate with Amazon Prime. Because, I mean, the one they would need help with would be Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, another great show by you. I'm trying to remember your moments. It started out with that awful jacket you wore in today.
That's right.
Yeah. But it looks good on you.
That's right.
No? You don't want to go that direction?
Judge Smells perfected it. Dangerfield. Dangerfield on Smells perfected it.
Dangerfield had all the lines. I bet you were something before electricity. Oh! He says, what's the deal with this stuff? Bushwood, a dump?
You.
Bushwood, a dump?
I tell the chef this is low-grade dog food.
There's marks on it from where the jockey was hitting it.